there was fucking food everywhere. Whoa. Just be careful because you really need this shit. It looks like a beaver got that.
Stump Kitchen, gluten-free vegan eats, Stumptastic treats.
Welcome to Stump Kitchen Fireside Chats. Is that right? Welcome to Stump Fireside, where we happen to be burning a fuck ton of stumps. Welcome to Stump Kitchen. Today is a special episode of Stump Kitchen. I'm going to answer your questions. We haven't had a time to just really sit down and have a chat yet. A few weeks ago, I asked you to submit questions on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you did. And I've compiled them all in this oven mitt, and I'm going to pull one out and answer them for you. Oops. Let's get to the questions. Number 1. How do you feel about having a pregnant guest on your show and calling the episode Stump Kitchen featuring Bump? I feel great about that. I feel really good, especially because I have a lot of pregnant friends, many of whom watch the show, and they all have varying degrees of bumps. We could have a lot of us on with all of our stumps and bumps. We could make f***ing gluten-free vegan buns and put them in the oven. On to the next question. How come you're so damn rad? Well, I'm gonna blush now. I think that when we see something in somebody else, we think, wow, that person is so brave, so great with kids, so funny. I feel like we're actually seeing glimpses of things in ourselves that we can't fully see yet. And so my question to you is, how come you're so damn rad? Yeah. Next question. What made you start Stump Kitchen, and are you happy with the progress it has made? Well, 5 years ago-ish, I was diagnosed with a gluten intolerance. What the f***? I think it's because I worked at a bakery for a lot of years and just ate bread all the time. And then about a year ago, I went full vegan from being a vegetarian. I just had to get really crafty in the kitchen, and it became really f***ing fun. And I realized that cooking was a huge therapeutic tool. Made me really feel good to be with my food. Oh, good one. And f***ing fell in love with cooking. I loved what I did for my mental health, my body. Oh, f***, the fire's getting hot. So I wanted to show how you can make fun, easy, delicious, gluten-free vegan meals. And it's called Stump Kitchen because the way that I am in the kitchen with my stump is fucking beautiful and awesome. So that's why it's called Stump Kitchen. Second part. Are you happy with the progress it's made? Yes! When I put the first episode out, which was waffles, I thought, okay, if this video hits 50 views, I'm thrilled. By the end of the day, it had over 100 views. The next day, it had 300 views. I was just like, what is happening? People's reactions were so awesome and just so full of joy and love and laughter. I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled at the community that it's building and the following that it's building and the conversations that it's starting. I am so happy. Thanks for the question. Next one. How did you meet Molly, your stump twin? So Molly and I, we met at a party and instantly bonded. We talked about our lives, our stumps. We laughed at all the things, like all the shit people say to people with one hand. So great. So we just hit it off and we've been friends ever since. I have felt so lucky to have filmed with her and cooked with her for a couple of the episodes. Here's a funny thing I'd like to mention about my stump twin. A couple of times I've been mistaken for Molly. I saw a show when I was leaving the event and someone yelled, "Bye, Molly!" And I was just like, next one. What's Canada's best signature food besides maple syrup and s'mores? I feel like we have a lot of signature foods, and I can't speak for the entire country. Like hockey? That's not a food. Poutine. So poutine is like French fries and cheese curds and gravy. And you can get vegan poutine at places, like with vegan cheese and vegan gravy. You know, something I'd like to do, which would be fucking rad, would be to travel across Canada and ask people what is the food of that place and just get fed really well. Hopefully find a gluten-free vegan version of that food and then get fed really well. Oops. Maple syrup and s'mores are f***ing great too. On to the next one. I'd like to know the greatest food adventure you and your stump have been on. A couple things come to mind. I went to a U-Pick farm in Manitoba with my mom and my sister, and we picked strawberries to make strawberry jam. That was a beautiful food adventure. And then last year, I volunteered on a farm, and we had a garden where every night I would go out with a big bowl, pick fresh salad leaves, onions, carrots, and prepare wonderful meals. But I think the greatest food adventure of all, I was 7. My family went to Disneyland. We were like waiting forever for the Dumbo ride, and we went to this place for lunch. We went there because my sister, she wanted fucking ribs for lunch. Went to this place, got ribs. They were full of fat and gross things. This is probably why I became a vegetarian, I don't know. She's vegan now too. And as we were leaving the restaurant, I fucking threw up in the garbage can. I just turned over and like kicked it. Just gross times. So maybe not an adventure, but that's how I'm going to choose to answer this question. Okay, on to the next one. I need help with alternative... I had a beer for lunch, so slow this down. I need help with alternatives to dairy milk that don't contain soy and don't taste like plastic. Vegemo! Veggie-based non-dairy milk. So this is made with pea protein, and it tastes really good. It doesn't taste like plastic. It's awesome. Give this a shot. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Next one. Okay, your knives are excellent. Have you ever accidentally bobbed that cute button nose? The answer is yes, I have. I was cutting a bagel. We all know how hard bagels are to cut, and it was just like falling around. And as I was slicing down into the bagel, my knife slipped and sliced right between in this little crook right here. And here's where I cut it. I was terrified. So that taught me a lesson, which was watch yourself when you fucking use knives. On to the next one. Who made your jingle? So I was coming home one day and the song literally just came into my head. Stump kitchen, and I grabbed my phone, hit record. I asked my friend Tyson Kerr, who is a musician, I asked him to arrange it, and he was like, okay. So he arranged it into what you hear on the episode, and that's actually his voice singing all the parts. Next one. Hot. Who are your culinary inspirations? Great question. A lot of my inspiration and maybe bravery actually comes from the Iron Chef. I used to watch that show all the time back when I had cable. I would just watch how these amazing chefs could create something out of nothing. Well, I guess they had lots of really cool ingredients at their fingertips. They just had to think on their feet and like create cool things, and literally they showed that anything was possible in the kitchen, and I love that. And in terms of like YouTube cooking shows, the first cooking show that I watched that I just loved was My Drunk Kitchen, and Hannah's like just laissez-faire attitude with cooking. My Drunk Kitchen is just the shit. Okay, next one. This is the last question. What's the story with the bump on your stump? I assume that you're referring to these wee bumps. There's 5 of them. 5 bumps for 5 fingers. These are my fingers. This one's my pinky. This one's my thumb, and then the tiny bumps in there are all the other fingers. So the story behind it is when I was developing inside my mom, turning into a baby, cooking, whatever babies do inside their parents. We don't actually really know what happened. The medical term is called amelia. That's being born without a partial limb or without a limb or 2, as opposed to an amputation, which is where you lose a limb after having a limb. When I was cooking inside my mom, my left arm either got caught somewhere and stopped growing, or it was congenital banding, where amniotic bands of tissue kind of get caught around your body and constrict growth and blood flow. My favorite superhero is Superman, and so I feel like when I was growing inside her, I had my arms kind of like this, just like Superman flying, you know, and then my left hand kind of got stuck on the inside of her womb and just didn't grow. But I don't know, I'm not really sure, and I kind of like the mystery. These are the fingers, and I fucking love them so much. Like, I wouldn't change them for anything. I've often had people ask if they hurt or get in the way, or if I'd ever want them removed. Fuck no, they're the best. I use my thumb to play the ukulele. I like to play with my pinky a lot. I have a nail on my thumb that I chew on and paint sometimes. When I draw faces on my stump, the thumb is a really great nose. And that's the last fucking question. This was the fucking best. I really want to do this again, so send me your questions. As you can tell, I'm gonna be fucking honest about anything you ask me, and I'll compile them and answer them. Thank you for being here so much. I'll see you next time on Stump Kitchen. Bye.
Stump Kitchen, gluten-free vegan eats, Stumptastic treats.
I'm really hot in this toque.